Hi, everybody. So my name is Brooke Maurer. I'm a freshman in Santiago ASB, and today I'm going to be presenting our stress management webinar. So welcome to our webinar. Our presenters today are Dr. Bako, Santiago's assistant principal, Ms. Sullivan, Santiago's guidance counselor, and my name is Brooke Maurer, and I'm a Santiago ASB student. So before we start our webinar, I would like to start off with taking a deep breath. So if you guys all want to take a deep breath with me, we'll go in through the nose and out through the mouth. All right, let's get started with our webinar. So today I'm going to be presenting our emotional toolbox. So I'm going to give you 6 tools to add to your emotional toolbox in order to help you with stressful times. Our first tool is going to be sounds. So sounds can be any noise that bring you peace or make you calm. Sounds are a really easy tool to add, so you can add multiple if you want. Some common sounds people like to use are ocean noises, piano, singing, ukulele, and many more. Our next tool is sights. Sights can be anything that bring you joy when you look at it. Examples can be a picture of something you love or something in person that brings you happiness. What is your favorite sight? Because I think mine is dogs. Our next tool is smells. Certain scents can make people calm. Essential oils play a big part in this section of your toolbox. It could also be a candle or just something that you love smelling. Some common scents are lavender, orange, lemon, mint, and jasmine. My favorite is lavender. Our next tool is people. Some people can bring you happiness and good feelings. There are certain people that you enjoy hanging out with or talking to, so add those people to your toolkit. It can be friends or family. Now we have actions. Some things that you do just put you at ease. It could be something that easily you do every day, or you can do just once a month. It can be your favorite hobby, self-care, or anything that makes you happy while doing it. And our last tool is touch. Touch may be hard at first to think of, but some examples of touch to put in your toolkit are a certain stuffed animal, fidget toys, stress balls, and many more. Now I'm going to introduce our guest speakers, Ms. Sullivan and Dr. Bako.
Hi, everyone. My name is Miss Sullivan, and we're going to go through our long list of stuff here. The first one is we have to remember that we can use stress for good. Everybody has stress in their life. We just can't allow ourselves to have too much stress. So how I look at it is in order to be prepared for a test, you have to have that little bit of stress so you actually prepare and you study for that test. So do you have something to add because you do really well. Like when you're in a stressful situation, you do really well.
Yeah, so I mean, but like with that, like Miss Sullivan said, you know, it's good to have good stress. You got to learn how to manage that stress. That's the big thing. You can't let it become so overwhelming that you need to go in and seek help and get all that stuff. But stress is good. I thrive on stress, especially in the work environment. I feel, you know, for me, I produce my best work and solve the most problems when I'm feeling the most stressed. But again, if I didn't have tools in my box to use to help me with stress relief, I probably wouldn't be as productive under stress. So the tools that Brooke talked about adding, I use multiple of those tools throughout my day, especially in high stress situations.
Yes, I would agree with that. It's being able to use all those tools because we have to, that stress response is very strong and it makes our body go into a different mode, and we have to let our body come out of that stress mode. So, which goes into self-care. Taking care of yourself is very, very important. So we kind of have a list here of some things that kind of help with self-care. Number one is keeping a routine. And I've noticed this is very true, especially in our COVID times, to keep a routine. You have to wake up at the same time. You have to keep doing what you would, I guess, normally do. But keeping a routine is very, very important. For me, exercising, and I know for a lot of students that I've talked to, that's one thing that they're lacking is the exercise. So I encourage everybody to take care of yourself, go out for a walk, do something inside. We had talked the other day about when you go outside, just being outside is a really good stress relief as well. Meditation is huge. Meditation can look differently for each of you. It could be listening to a meditation. It could be sitting and just sitting quietly and thinking about how you are right there in that present time, which kind of goes into journaling, writing about your day, reflecting on your day, kind of setting a plan for the day. That's all part of journaling. And then kind of with keeping a routine, making sure that you have a sleep schedule, because we kind of have a different schedule right now. So you have to make sure that you are on a sleep schedule and that you're getting enough sleep. And then make sure that you are eating correctly, that you're not overeating, you're not undereating, and that you're eating the right things. When you're kind of working from home and you're that remote learning, you can kind of walk to the kitchen anytime. So you have to be careful of that. And then another very important one is practicing that positive self-talk. So we have to wake up every day and say, I got this, I can do this, because you don't have as many people around you to be encouraging you. So you have to kind of take that on for yourself.
Yeah, and in the time that we're in with the COVID and stuff, I mean, self-care hasn't been more important than now. It is, and it's kind of come to the front of things. And more importantly, I want you to know that self-care is not selfish. It is not being selfish at all. Because if we can't take care of ourselves, we're not going to be able to take care of others. And especially in this time right now, we are seeing, us, our students, our staff, and just the community, people need us now more than ever. But if we're not our best selves and we're not taking care of ourselves, we're going to be no good to anybody else. So don't think of it as a selfish act. It is not. You need to put yourself first before you can help others. Just like, think of it like when you're in the airplane in the little oxygen mask, when the flight attendant's telling you, if we're in case of emergency and the oxygen mask drop, put yours on first before you help others. So really think of that like self-care. You need to help yourself before you're even going to have the ability to help others. So don't think of it as being selfish. It is something we need to do. We need to do it now more than ever.
Definitely. Then we also, along with self-care, we need to recognize when we need to use that self-care. So I know for myself, I can tell when I start to get stressed out. My body starts to get really tense. My neck starts to hurt. My shoulder starts to hurt. My whole body starts to hurt. So when I feel that, that's when I know I have to get up and I have to do something different. I need to take my deep breaths. I need to go outside and go for a walk. I need to check in with somebody so my stress level doesn't continue. The other one is racing thoughts. How am I supposed to study? How am I supposed to learn something when my thoughts are all over the place, which then goes into, having a hard time concentrating. We can't concentrate when we have, a whirlwind of things going on. So our body tells us these things, and we need to step in and we need to put in those coping strategies to then be able to move on. The feelings of being overwhelmed, again, it's just that whirlwind. And then if you're having a difficult time sleeping, that's also a sign your body is telling you, before you go to bed, make sure you're disconnecting from social media. You're disconnecting from watching the news. You're disconnecting from some of those stressful things, and you're putting in place some of those coping strategies to help you calm down, wind down before you go to sleep.
Yeah. And I know me personally, I struggle. I have a very difficult time sleeping because, stress, mind racing, a lot of things that Miss Sullivan already talked about. And I know one helpful thing, I have a little journal that sits next to my bed on my nightstand with a writing utensil, a pen or a pencil. And when I find myself waking up in at night, in the middle of the night, and your mind's racing and you can't seem to fall asleep, I find that if I write down what I'm thinking about at that moment, it almost like it puts my mind at ease, and then I can fall back to sleep. So that's another tool you guys can add to your stress management toolbox is just, it goes back to that journaling, that part. And that's really what I'm doing. I'm journaling in order to release that tension, that stress from my mind so it can calm and relax. Another thing going with kind of journaling is if you can't figure out why you're so stressed, you can always journal what happened prior to you feeling so stressed out. And you could see if there's a pattern and maybe a change that you need to make within your day, within your week or something. So that journaling plays a big role of you trying to figure out what your stress triggers are. Now, remember, if it's good stress, that's one thing, but these things that are kind of getting you down and down and down, journal it out, find out what happened prior to you feeling like that. And you may see a pattern develop that you can now, you figured out what the problem is and you can develop a solution around it.
Mm-hmm. I really like that because it's coming up. Stress is not going to go away. We can't ignore it. But if we can figure out what our triggers are, then we can work towards that solution. That's really good. And that kind of goes along with the next topic is changing your mindset. If we have a negative outlook on things, we are going to be more stressed. A lot of the times I hear a lot of students say, like, I don't know how to do this. Like, there's too much, it's too hard. But instead of looking at it that way, you kind of look at it in a more positive way of, wow, I get to learn something new. And learning things is sometimes difficult. Making mistakes is okay. Again, changing your mindset to, I got this, I can do this. And, but again, making mistakes, a lot of people aren't aware, they're not okay with making mistakes, but that's part of things and it's part of growing up. And even for us making mistakes, I think we learn a lot more when we make a mistake because then we can correct it.
Yeah, and I encourage you guys to do a little more, dig around. There's so much on what a growth mindset is and really looking at it as a positive and taking those challenges, accepting those challenges, knowing that you may fail, but it's what you're going to learn from that failure that's going to get you to do it right, do it better, approach it differently the next time. So really look at, I know in our Be a Shark stuff at the beginning of the school year that we pushed out, I think it was the very first lesson, it dealt with growth mindset versus a fixed mindset. And especially it was more geared around academically, how important it was to have a growth mindset. But I really encourage you guys to go out, look on YouTube. There's so much on growth mindset from YouTube, and really just kind of go through it and look at that. And that is, it's only going to benefit you. And it's like what is the Michael Jordan about failure?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
There's something about failure. You're only going to learn. I've only missed the shots I've never taken, or whatever his quote was, something like that. Like you're going to fail over and over and over. But that can't defeat you. It's what you learn from it to make you better the next time around.
Totally agree with that. So next we go on to, we have a bunch of resources and there's so many resources out there. I mean, you can go on YouTube and you can find so many like 5-minute mindful meditations. There's a lot of TED Talks that have a lot of positive messages, but a few that we've listed here on our counseling webpage. If you go to our webpage and then you go to counseling, when you're on that first page, there's the CNUSD virtual calming room, and you can click on that. And in that website, there's so many different resources, all the way to coloring sheets, to viewing animals, because we know that, seeing animals is very calming. There's music, a whole bunch of stuff. So I would really encourage you guys to go look at that. Some apps that I use all the time are the Calm app, and actually some of those are on YouTube as well. As educators, we get the Calm app, but I know if you are a patient of Kaiser, you can get the Calm app as well for free. And then Headspace is another free app that you can get. And then we've also included 2 hotline text line numbers. Those you can use 24/7. So if you just need somebody to talk to, it's 2 in the morning and you're just feeling very overwhelmed, you can reach out to one of those numbers. And then
just resources we haven't listed, us here at the school. You have 6 resources dedicated to you every 2 days in your block schedule. So your teachers, reach out to your teachers if you need support, or you don't even know how to get connected to a support that you may need. So reach out to them, your counselors here at the school, your assistant principal, the security. There are so many adults on this campus that will go above and beyond to help you out. And I know it's more difficult now than you showing up every single day and you have 300 people to pick from, 300 adults on campus to pick from to get support, but everybody is on email. The phones, if you call the office, the phones will be answered. We are your biggest resource if you need anything. So do not hesitate to reach out to the school if you need anything.
And then you also are doing Mindful Mondays.
Oh yeah, Mindfulness Mondays. There's a link on Twitter, on Facebook. If I can get it done on time, I put it on the Friday finale the week before, but it's always there. That's a resource. But like for me, every morning, I just put on a YouTube super quick while I'm getting ready, while I'm putting my makeup on, while I'm doing my hair. And, some days it's a thunderstorm because that's the mood I'm in that morning, but the calming of the rain and the sounds, some days it's a stream, some days it's the ocean, but there's so much at our fingertips to help us, and that's free to us. Utilize your resources, and just know you have a huge support team around you to help you get through anything that you need to get through.
And I think one more thing I want to add is the reason we really want you guys to reach out to us is we know that times are very difficult right now. We don't want anybody to resort to any negative coping strategies. And I'll be blunt and I'll kind of call those out. I don't want you guys drinking, smoking, drugs, anything like that. Those are just a temporary fix. So we know, and those aren't going to solve what's going on.
And could lead to bigger problems.
Yes. So we are here. If you don't feel comfortable reaching out to one of us, there's these resources, please use them.
Yeah. Even we've had it several times where a friend has reached out to another friend, and then that friend's reached out to us. So if you're not comfortable, but you're comfortable with your friend maybe talking to somebody, use that too. There is no shame in reaching out. Every single one of you are important. Every single one of you were put here for a reason, and it is our job and our goal and our wish to everybody have the best life they can. And sometimes, me as an adult, Ms. Sullivan, Mr. Sampson, adults need help too. So just don't be ashamed, reach out. We are here to love and support you. So we're here.
Yep.
Definitely.
And
And you are important. No matter what anybody says to you, you are important.
Yes, thank you guys so much for that. This portion, we are going to answer some of the questions we have in our live chat box on our YouTube live right now. So I have one question. It is, if I'm feeling overloaded with work I need to get done, how do I maintain calm and not stressed?
So for me, first I'd be like, do you have a schedule? Have you written down your schedule? Have you communicated with your teachers? I know we have a lot of kids that are feeling that exact thing right now. And we talk about it. We have the structure of school. You come to school and you know exactly what's going to happen. Being thrown into this remote virtual world, we didn't have that structure, and homes and students were, kind of to fend for themselves and figure out structure themselves. So if you haven't done it already, and God, I hope you have, because it's been 12 weeks, sit down and set your schedule. Know what you're going to do. And it is really important to know you are in school from 7:40 until 2:45.
Yep.
That is what you should be working every day, even though we're at home. And we know it's hard because you have so many fun distractions at home. But set your schedule as if you were in school. Attack the big point assignments, the big projects. I would say attack those and prioritize. Oh, that bell makes me so sad missing it. Oh. But and that would be working with your teachers. Like, what is the most, like, prioritize it. What is the assignment that I absolutely need to get done? And then and then just start. You have a perfect opportunity. In 2 weeks is Thanksgiving.
Yep.
So most teachers have been over accommodating and allowing stuff to be turned in. No new assignments are going to be given over Thanksgiving break. So you have that week to really don't check out. Maybe take Thursday off because that's your family day. But really set a schedule for that week and really try to tackle and take away some of those missing assignments or projects or whatever it is that you need. But I would say scheduling is a big piece.
Well, and I know for me, I have to make a list.
Yeah.
And sometimes the list starts off that long and that's very overwhelming, but then you start crossing it out and then you start seeing, wow, I'm getting done.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing that you pointed out is make that schedule, but also talk to your teachers. Don't think that you are doing this alone. And then if you still don't understand things, make sure that you're going to the remote learning time with your teachers, because a lot of students have been very successful when they log on in the afternoon and they get that one-on-one time. So, and your teachers will sit down and they'll problem solve with you on helping you create a schedule specifically for their class.
Yeah, thank you. Our next question is, what kind of balance should we keep between school, family, and hobbies?
Definitely a balance. One can't take over the other. But again, I mean, I just think of it typically what you would be here at school. So you're here at school, what, 7.5 hours? I would say on average, most students say they have 30 minutes to an hour of homework every night. Unless, you are that extremely overachiever taking, 7 AP classes, you might have more homework, but think of it that you're like 7 to 7.5 hours and then maybe an hour after school. So at most 8.5 hours. That time should be dedicated to school. And then, you have your hobbies and you have your family that you take care of in the evening. And I know when because I just recently ended my degree in schooling, I made it a priority for myself that I was basically going to stress myself out during the week. And come Friday night, when I went to bed, I knew all of my homework and everything I needed to be done for the week was done. So I could focus on my family on Saturday and Sunday and things I wanted to do either for myself or my family. So really, again, I think it's coming down to that schedule and prioritizing, but you have to make time for all of them.
Yes.
You got to schedule and figure yourself out for all of them.
I think the right word in there was balance. But I think you do have to, if you know you want to do something on Saturday and Sunday, you have to build it in your schedule during the week, and you may have to work a little harder so you can have that time for family and fun. And if it's a hobby, it's something you love to do. So that's kind of going to give you that motivation to get the other stuff done.
Yes. Our next question is, when we are at school, who is someone I could talk to if I'm having problems with stress?
Definitely any counselor. One thing that we did during office hours last year is we did, I don't even remember what it's called now, like mindfulness Fridays. Miss Niles and I would do that. So I know that when we do come back on campus, we'll definitely do that again. One thing that I am looking at starting is, and please follow the counseling Instagram, Twitter, social media account, because we're going to put things out through there. I do want to start like a de-stress Friday, which will be a small group of students getting together to kind of just talk, do some deep breathing activities. So look for that. So follow, the counseling Instagram, and then look for more information, because I hope to get that up and running by next Friday.
And you walk, remember, you walk in every day, every period to somebody who will support you.
Yes.
So if you don't know where to go, ask your teacher too when you're on campus, and they will, more than likely, they'll guide you to the counseling office. But if you don't know, it's okay. It's okay not to know. That's why we're here. We're here to help you.
Yep.
Yeah. I got a couple questions about how do you like relieve stress when you're about to do a test, or what are some like quick ways you can relieve your stress going into a test?
I know for me, whenever I go into something stressful or about to enter something that I know is going to cause me high stress, I really like the 4-7-8 breathing. It's where you inhale for 4, hold it for 7, exhale for 8 seconds. They typically do it about 10 to 12 times, and just, be relaxed, a calm state. And that kind of eases my mind, brings my tension down, and makes me feel like a rock star that I can conquer the world. So that's one thing that I typically, that's my go-to. The 4-7-8 is my go-to because it's easy to remember.
Yep.
4-7-8, inhale, hold, exhale.
I do that same thing, but I kind of envision like a triangle. So you can just kind of take your pencil or pen and kind of focus on that. I've encouraged some students to close their eyes and just kind of take that moment as the teacher is handing out the tests. I say, take those 2 to 3 minutes and get your breathing under control, get all your thoughts, be in that present moment, and then you can then look at your test. And it really works. I know for me, it really works.
Yeah, deep breathing is definitely something for me as well. So I definitely agree with that one. Our next question is, are there certain fruits that I should or should not be eating when I'm stressed out?
Well, I'm a doctor, but I'm not that kind of doctor. So I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know. Google it. That's a good one. I have no idea.
Probably anything with high caffeine. I don't know.
I know watermelon makes me happy, but I don't know if that's scientific.
Yeah, that one I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't know that one.
It's all right. Next question is, have you ever had a situation where you were stressed? If so, how did you deal with it well?
Yeah, I'm stressed every day.
Yeah.
I start my morning by taking my dog Daisy. If you guys know Daisy, she's our lovely therapy dog that I get to take to school with me. So I take her for a walk in the morning, and being outside, watching the sun come up, that really relieves a lot of my stress. And then I end my night doing that same thing. When I'm stressed at school and Daisy is with me, that is just, it's the weirdest thing how she can just come over to you and snuggle up with you, or just like make some silly little, I don't know what she does, but it's pretty cool. So if you have a pet at home, wow, they can be pretty amazing.
Yeah, I am a total animal is my go-to for de-stress. So I love when Daisy is here at work and I'm stressed because I just find Daisy and I love on her. Miss Sullivan will know I'll be laying in her office floor on the ground snuggling with Daisy because she just calms me. But I also want you to know I am a stress crier. So sometimes my stress and my stress relief comes out in tears. And that's okay. That it's okay to have that vulnerability. So I want people to know that. I am known for in my office, if a kid starts telling me a stressful thing or is going through something, that I'm crying with them because I'm feeling their stress with them. And it's okay. It's not a sign of weakness. It's actually, there's a lot of research that shows when you cry, it's actually a sign of strength. And being open and vulnerable. But so know that it's okay. Sometimes I just need a good cry to feel better. Yep. And that's okay. So, and it happens often. Often. Yes. But it's okay because
it is.
I really do feel a lot better after.
Yes. Okay. So our next question is, do you have any song or sound suggestions for when you are feeling stressed?
So if you go to that virtual calming room, there's a whole bunch of music.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like that background music. It really depends on the person,
I was
though.
gonna say it's your preference.
Yeah.
Like I'm an ocean person. I love the sound of the waves and stuff.
Mhm.
Like my go-to is always water, like ocean, a stream, a river, a lake, you know, something like water sounds.
But there's a lot of different sounds on that virtual calming room. But it could just be your favorite song that
Yeah.
you know, put on Spotify, put on Pandora, YouTube, whatever. It's your preference.
Yeah, sometimes you just need to dance it out too. You know, you cry it out, you just got to dance it out too.
True. Sing.
Yes, I agree with like it's different for every person too, because it definitely took me a while to find like my favorite sound, but like my personal favorite is I just look on YouTube, like I think I look up calming music, and there's this like certain live stream that I
Yeah.
listen to every single night to fall asleep, and it just like I don't know, it's just really good for me, and that's how I always fall asleep every night. So
That's good.
our next question is, does being around people help you when you are stressed, or does it make it worse?
I think for me, it depends on what is causing my stress, because sometimes it's being around too many people is what is causing my stress. So I think you need to first figure out what is causing my stress.
Yeah.
To know if that you should be around people or if you should do something and kind of practice that self-care for yourself.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It's very situational.
Yes.
Because
Yeah.
sometimes it's nice, like to bounce an idea or my stress off somebody. And then sometimes I just need to be alone and deal with it myself or snuggle my dogs, you know, or sometimes it's just hugging my little girl to get me through the stressful time. So it's very situational for me personally.
Because other things I do is I like to run. So I'll put music on
outside.
and I'll be outside and I'll go for that run. And by the time I come back from my run, my stress is gone and I'm so tired that all my energy and everything's gone.
Yeah.
So I don't really care about much.
Another newfound love that is swinging. Like you wouldn't think, because I haven't swung since I was a long time, and having a little girl, she loves to swing, and it's just, I don't know if it's like just the motion and almost like the freeness of it. So try that. Go to a park and just swing for a little bit if you need to de-stress.
And that brings up a good point, because it's really good to laugh.
Yeah.
Laughing just does amazing things to our body.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And then we have our last question to end out the webinar. It is, how can you support someone you know who is stressed?
I think you can just let them know that you are there to support them. Sometimes you do need to distract them a little bit to kind of get them out of that super, like they're kind of in locked up mode. And then you can start listening to them. And hopefully as they're talking through what their stressors are, they're able to come up with a solution. And then you can kind of help them reach that solution.
I don't have anything else, but the big piece, listening. A lot of times when people are stressed, they just want to vent.
Yes.
You know, and they don't really necessarily want you to offer solutions or anything. They just want to know that you're there. You know, a pat on the back, a hug, crying, my favorite, crying together. You know, they just listen and know that you're there for them, and, you know, comfort them when they need. And yeah.
So thank you guys so much for listening. Please take care of yourselves, and thank you for joining. And it means a lot to all of us here. So thank you guys. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, sharks. We miss you.